Good morning, children. Today we will do lesson 4, adaptation in animals. A natural place where an animal lives and grows naturally is called its habitat. Animals live in different habitats such as land, water, or air. Like plants, they also adjust themselves to their surroundings. Now, what do you understand by this term habitat? Children, in simple language, we can say the place that provides the basic things for an organism to survive is called habitat. Adaptation in animals. Animals living in different habitats adapt or change themselves to suit their surroundings. These changes occur over a long period of time. The process in which an animal or plant changes itself to suit its surroundings is called adaptation. Adaptation is an essential feature of all living beings. This gives them a better chance of survival. Those who cannot adapt slowly die or vanish. Most animals adapt either to their habitats, food habits, or for their protection. Let us discuss about the adaptation in different animals. Now, what do you understand by this term adaptation? You can say a modification or change in an organism's body or behavior that helps it to survive is called adaptation, because you can see animals are found in all the places or habitats. Some places are desert, some are hot, some are dry, some are very cold like polar regions. So how these animals adapt themselves according to the environment, it's called as adaptation. Adaptation to the habitats. Based on their habitats, animals are classified as under terrestrial or land animals. Animals that live on land are called terrestrial animals. Animals like dog, deer, camel, cow, etc. are well adapted to live on land. These animals have certain distinct features that help them to live on land. That means terrestrial animals are the animals that live on land. Now, since they have to adapt themselves to the land environment, they have to adapt the changes. Their body is structured in the similar way. They have legs or limbs to move, lungs to breathe, hairy or thick skin to bear heat and cold, well-developed nervous system and sense organs. So, you all have understood that terrestrial animals that live on land and they have features suitable for life on land, and they have legs which help them to walk on land, and most of them have lungs as their breathing organ. Animals living in mountains or polar region have heavy fur on their bodies. These animals also have a layer of fat under their skin which protects them from cold climate. The mountain goat is very good at climbing. It has small hoofs that help it to climb up and down at steep rocky mountain sides. Its thick coat protects it against the cold. Example, polar bear, muskox, seal, walrus, and penguin are adapted to live in these regions. So in brief, you all can understand that animals have adapted to live in different climatic conditions. Now suppose, first we'll talk about the freezing condition. Now here it is already mentioned that animals have a thick layer of fat. But why? Because under their skin they have to keep their body warm. And in cold places, animals that live in very cold places have fur on their body, which protects them from cold. And you can see it's very cold on the mountains and in the polar regions, and polar bear is adapted to that particular environment. Animals living in desert are adapted to survive with little water. Most of the desert animals are small in size. They can live without food and water for many days. A camel has padded feet to move on sand. Camels have humps on their back which have stored fat. Fat gives them energy which they do not get food or water for many days. They have long eyelashes that protect their eyes during sandstorms in deserts. Now, we will talk about the animals adapted to desert region. Animals living in deserts have very little hair on their body, and their animals have certain adaptation that prevent water loss from their body. When you will talk about camel's hump, you can see fat stored in the hump helps it to provide energy for a long period when it does not have access to food and water. It is already given over there that fat gives them energy when they do not get food or water for many days. And similarly, they have eyelashes, long eyelashes and thick eyelids that protects their eyes from the sand blowing with the wind. Now let us move to aquatic animals. Aquatic animals have certain distinct features which help them to live in water. Most of the aquatic animals have gills to breathe. A few may have lungs. They have fins and tails which help them in swimming in water. So animals that live in water are simply called as aquatic animals, and most of them breathe through gills. And these aquatic animals have fins or limbs to help them to swim. One thing more, that aquatic birds like ducks and geese have webbed feet. Why? Because which help them to push water back while swimming. Fine. They have slender shaped which help them in giving under deep water. It is already mentioned over here that they have slender shaped body which help them in living under deep water. Some water birds like duck have webbed feet or petal-like flippers as in turtle. As I have already told, why these ducks and geese have webbed feet? Because which help them to push water back while swimming. Whale, shark, water snake, snake, octopus and starfish are all aquatic animals. Blue whale is the largest animal on the earth. Now we will talk about amphibians. Amphibians are the animals that can live both on land and in water. These animals have distinct features which suit them both on land and in water. They have limbs to move and swim, gills and lungs to respire in water and on land respectively, moist skin to breathe in water. Amphibians are generally cold-blooded animals. They cannot bear very cold weather, so they undergo long winter sleep called hibernation. Frog, toad, tortoise, crocodile, alligator, and salamander are some amphibians. Now, what is the property of amphibian? Amphibians are the animals that live both on land and in water. So, they have distinct features. That is, they have different features adapted both to the land and in the water. So these have limbs to facilitate swimming because they have to swim. So they have limbs and they breathe through their moist skin when they are in water. But when they are on land, they breathe through the lungs. They also have webbed feet that help them to swim in water. So again, I will revise these amphibians. That animals that live both on land and water are called amphibians, and They have webbed feet that help them to swim in water. Why they have limbs? Because they have to swim. So they have limbs help to facilitate swimming. And but when they are on land, they breathe through the lungs. Examples you can see over here: frog, toad, crocodile, alligator. Fine. Now let us move to aerial animals. By the word only, aerial means fly. Animals that can fly and spend most of their time in air are called aerial animals. Such animals have hollow bones and wings to fly. They also have boat-shaped body, which helps them in flying. They spend most of the time in air in search of food. Now, what are the features of aerial animals? First is that animals that can fly and spend a lot of time in the air are called aerial animals. Second feature, they have hollow bones. Why? Because to make their bodies light. Third, that they have a set of limbs modified as wings to help them fly. Understood? Arboreal animals. Animals that spend most of their time on trees are called arboreal animals. Perching birds, monkey, ape, koala bear, and flying squirrel are some arboreal animals. Perching birds have different types of claws to hold the branches of trees. Monkeys have long arms and tail for climbing and hanging on trees. That means arboreal animals spend most of their times on trees. Now, they have special adaptations. First, we will discuss about limbs and tails. Many arboreal animals have long limbs. Why? Because they have to swing smartly, efficiently from branch to branch. Some of them have long tails like monkey. Why? Which can grasp branches and act as an extra limb. Understood my point? That monkeys, they have long limbs that allow them to swing from one branch to other branch. You have seen also. And some of them have long tails which can grasp branches, and that tail acts as an extra limb. Now, when you talk about the arboreal feet and claws, animals living in trees like squirrel, you can take the example of squirrel, they require a strong grip so that they don't fall off. And they have strong feet and claws. Why? Because they have been adapted for seizing, grasping, holding objects by wrapping around. Adaptation to food habits. Now, this topic you have already studied in class 3. You all are aware of the words herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. So, according to the food they consume, animals are grouped as herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. Plant eaters or herbivores have sharp cutting front teeth and strong grinding teeth at the back. Many herbivores have hard hooves because they have to walk a lot in search of food. Cows, goats, giraffes are herbivores. Now, children, herbivores are the animals that eat plants. Simply, you can understand from the term herbivores, that is plant eater animals. Now, they have sharp teeth. Why? Because they have to bite, they have to cut, and they have very strong teeth for grinding. Understood? Now, flesh-eating animals are called carnivores. They have sharp teeth or beaks and claws to catch other animals and to tear flesh. Birds of prey, like vultures or eagles, have sharp eyes to spot their prey. Eagles, lions, tigers are carnivores. Now, animals that eat the flesh of other animals are called carnivores. Most carnivores animals have very sharp teeth for tearing out the flesh of its prey. Now, what do you understand by prey? Prey is an animal that is hunted and killed by another for food. So, what these carnivores animal they do? Animals they do? They generally have sharp teeth for tearing out the flesh of its prey. Now let us move to scavengers. Some animals like vulture, hawk or hyena eat flesh of dead animals. These are called scavengers. Scavengers play an important role in cleaning the environment. Omnivores eat both plants and animals. Bear, crow and cockroach are some omnivores. Now let us differentiate between omnivores and scavengers. Scavengers are some flesh-eating animals feed on the flesh of the dead animal. That is why they are saying they are important in cleaning the environment. And omnivores are those animals that eat plants as well as the flesh of other animals. Examples of scavengers are vulture, hyena, and examples of omnivores are crow and bear. Now, let us move to this topic, that is parasites. Some animals depend on the other living animals for their food. They are called parasites. They live within or on the bodies of other animals. Bugs, mosquitoes, and leeches are examples of some parasite. Now, some animals get their food from other living organisms. And what they generally do, they suck the blood of their host. Where they are living, they may live on or inside the body of their host. Actually, these mosquitoes which suck the blood of the humans and other animals are the parasites. Mosquitoes, they don't have teeth. They have a long sharp pipe, and which this pipe, they generally suck their blood, and these are adapted in such a way that they get the food by sucking the blood of their host. Understood? Now, adaptation for protection. Animals protect themselves from their enemies in different ways. Some animals like grasshopper, chameleon, garden lizards, and snake develop special adaptation called camouflage. Camouflage helps the animals to hide from its predators and prey. These animals change their skin color to blend with their surroundings. Some animals like leopard, tiger, zebra, and giraffe have spots and stripes on their body which help them to merge with their surroundings. These protects them from their predators and prey both. Now here, one term is used, that is camouflage. See, camouflage is the ability to blend into the surrounding environment. But why we are blending? Because it is useful self-defense. What do you understand by self-defense? That is to protect oneself from the environment. And this is a method for an animal when trying to avoid a predator, because predator is an animal that kills and eats other animals. So this is you can say it is an ability or a technique to get merge into the surrounding environment. For example, a walking stick insects look like a twig on trees or shrubs. When it is resting, it has the same color, shape and position as a twig. Some animals move fast enough to escape from their enemies. For example, deer, ostrich, emus and snake run very fast. Animals like crabs, tortoise and snails have shells, and porcupine has spines to protect themselves from their enemies. Some poisonous animals like snake, lizard and scorpion have poisonous venom to kill their enemies. So these are the examples. You can see how animals escape from their enemies. First one, you can see ostrich. Ostrich generally move fast. They run very fast to escape from the enemies. Tortoise, what they do, they have shells to protect themselves. You have seen the tortoise body also. You have seen tortoise. Porcupine has spines. Now porcupine has spines that these are needle shaped like structure which protect themselves from the enemy. Others have a poisonous chemical, or you can say as a poisonous substance which protect them or they kill their enemies. Example, snake, lizard.